What's up, guys? D1 here. I've got a bit of a flu, so you'll have to excuse me if I do a couple coughs here and there. But today I wanted to talk about my biggest mistake / regret of 2016. I almost said 2015 there. 2016. I've been doing a bunch of my goal setting and kind of reviewing the year. Many of you know I've exited some of my old businesses and I'm launching some new ones as I try to scale to kind of the next level. And I've really run into a few roadblocks this year, and it even actually passed into last year. And I figured I would share it with you guys so that you don't make the same mistakes I did, and hopefully just bypass me in a lot of ways. Because holy shit, if I had just focused on this one thing and really given it attention, I think I'd have been 3 or 4 or 5 times further than where I am right now. And ultimately, my biggest mistake of 2016 was not documenting processes within my business. And more importantly, focusing on continuing to automate my business so that I could scale it out. Now, all of us run businesses, or most of us are thinking about starting businesses that are on this channel. I think we've weeded out most of the people that aren't, aspiring to be entrepreneurs in their own way. Many of us get stuck in this, the startup phase where we're wearing every hat. We're doing accounting, we're doing marketing, we're doing product creation. We're doing admin, we're doing all of these things, and we're learning, and we're competing in the marketplace, we're making new friends, and we're in Facebook groups, and we're trying to add value, and all these things that we're supposed to be doing, and you're in this grind phase. And then at some point, something clicks. Maybe you find your market, or you find your competitive edge, or you find something you're really passionate about, and boom, all of a sudden your business takes off. Now sales don't really become a problem. You've created some sort of structure in your business, I hope, ideally passive, whether it's creating a website or creating Kindle books or creating software or whatever you're doing, but you've created some sort of product where there's some automation in it, where traffic can find you online even if you sleep, and then transaction can happen while you sleep as well. That's really the passive element of it. So that happens, and then you kind of take your foot off the pedal a bit and you start focusing on what you love, which may be selling or it might be learning. And some of the aspects that you were doing originally, you've now got to outsource in order for your business to continue. Well, in my case, if I'm honest, a lot of that stuff I just ignored and focused on what I did best, which was selling and building relationship and kind of bushwhacking. And what I mean by bushwhacking, it's funny. Like when I talk to, now my staff and my girlfriend, my other friends around me, I'm an absolute rock star bushwhacker. I love getting in there on the unknown where nobody has any idea what's going on and literally bushwhacking and trying to figure out, how we can solve the problem. So I like solving problems. The problem comes is me picking up the pieces and trying to figure out what I did so I can replicate the process. So in my case, I was going headfirst into these businesses, creating systems that worked, ultimately creating sales and creating value for my customers. And then I would just move on to the next thing. Well, when it came time to replicate that, whether it was replicating sales processes or replicating onboarding processes, personally, I just wasn't interested in focusing on that. And because I was so good at selling and so good at building my businesses, or let me rephrase that, not building my businesses, so good at solving new problems in my business, those things were kind of left untouched. And it was a huge, huge mistake. I ended up bottlenecking my business in multiple ways. My customers were not served at the best of my abilities, and I'm just being honest. Those of you that are my existing customers, you know that I love you and I serve you, but I know that I could serve at the absolute #1 position on the internet. So I know that's possible, but I wasn't giving that. And really, it came down to not documenting the processes along the way. So as an example, if there was an onboarding process, you should be able to teach it to somebody so that somebody else can do that process so you can focus on that. Now, I was able to automate my Kindle business a year and a half ago, and that was because I recorded myself doing every process of the business and then handed it off to a project manager. They were able to execute on my game plan and then ultimately continue building my business. Now, many of you out there I know are doing this already. Now, for me, I wasn't. I was more excited to just go out there, like I said, bushwhacking than really documenting the process. So what my suggestion for you to do is, as you're doing something in your business, if you know that somebody else can do it, record yourself doing it. Now, there's software like Jing, which is spelled Jing, I believe. There's Camtasia, there's ScreenFlow. I personally use ScreenFlow for my stuff. Just record yourself. It doesn't have to be video. Just get a microphone like this lapel mic or even a USB microphone or even your iPhone earbuds. Everybody's got something. Plug it in and record the process. I got suggested a book, I think 2 weeks ago, and I believe it was called Work the System. I'm gonna double check, Work the System. And it was basically about us as business owners moving away from being firefighters. And that's ultimately what I was so excellent at putting out fires in my business that I wasn't focusing on preventing fires, if that makes sense. So, we tell ourselves that we're this big hero that's waking up every morning and putting out the biggest fires in our business so that we can move forward. That's really shitty operations of being a business owner. Instead, what this book suggests is that you should wake up every morning and work on the systems in your business. It makes every day still fresh and exciting, just like what we want as entrepreneurs to have, the freedom and the spontaneousness of business. I think that's why a lot of us are in business, is because every day can be a different challenge. But instead of putting out the fires, build systems and wake up and work on your systems daily so the fires never happen. The best part then is that you've got a standard operating procedure for all of your businesses, and then you can hire staff, onboard them intelligently, and then they know what they're doing too, because that was also a problem of mine. About 4 months ago, I filmed a video about hiring staff, and I honestly went through a ton of staff, and at first I was blaming them. Oh, they're crappy. Oh, they don't know what they're doing. But ultimately, it came down to me not having the structure and systems in place so that they could open up an operating manual and say, okay, this is how I upload a YouTube video. This is how I upload to a blog. Furthermore, and this is for the people that are information junkies. I know I am. If you're in the information marketing world, you're going to be an information junkie by heart. And this is what was happening. I would take in some information and I'd be like, oh, that's such a great idea. And then I would implement it and then I would forget about it a week later. But if you've got a system or, a piece of paper with the action steps of this process, you can then go onto this action step process, this checklist, and literally change it. So as an example, uploading to YouTube, a best practice is to actually change your video name to an SEO-friendly keyword. So if this video is about building systems, let's say, I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna name this video yet, I would make sure that the file name is building systems, if that's the keyword that I'm targeting. Now, if I had heard that information like you're hearing it now and you haven't implemented in your business, you might go and make the change once or twice. But now that I've got a standard operating procedure, a checklist that anybody can follow, the first thing will be rename the movie to the main keyword. And they're gonna have a checklist. That means that anybody that runs my business, the things that I learn will be implemented in my business and I never have to think about it again. Whereas I know a lot of us, myself included, we keep thinking about the same things over and over again in this loop and it never gets done. So anyways, guys, I know this video is a bit longer than I want it to be, but just the biggest feedback that I can give you, start documenting every process in your business, create a standard operating procedure so that when it does come time for you to scale, because again, you cannot scale your own time. That is the only thing that you cannot scale in your business is you. Hiring employees and hiring staff is scaling time within your business, but ultimately you cannot scale yourself. So get the stuff out of your head, get it onto a piece of paper, record the videos, create structure, and you'll be amazed at not only how free you feel, but when you find things that you can actually change in your business, you can then apply them directly to these checklists or standard operating procedures, and away you go. And then when it comes time to hire staff, they've got a turnkey system that you know that works. And if for whatever reason the project fails, well, then you have something to measure into. You can ask your staff, did you follow directions? If they did follow directions, then you know it's a problem with your procedure or your process, and then you can fix that. But especially if you're hiring staff and you run into problems, if you don't have a standard operating procedure and you don't have your systems in a hard copy, there's no way for you to know. So hopefully that helps, guys. I'd love to hear your comments below. Again, this is something that I've been working on the last couple weeks, really documenting all of my processes. Things are moving a lot faster for me. I'm feeling very confident about hiring staff in some of my other businesses. And also it lets me get back to where I love to do, which is the bushwhacking, but also focusing on improving my systems rather than just putting out fires. Hopefully this helps, and we'll chat with you guys soon. Cheers.